Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 71 for the week of August 20th, 2012. I'm your host, Ryan Higgins, as always. Who am I joined by?
Brock Sager.
Toby.
Hello, Brock and Toby.
Hello, Ryan.
Quiet week this week. Omar's off. Charlie's got some kids going to a thing called school.
Back to my boss today, too. Left early for back to school night.
Yeah, I think Charlie's
where
kids...
all the breeders get together to look at where the kids are going to be at and stuff.
I think Charlie's kid starts tomorrow, so...
I started work today.
I have a vague recollection of a building I went to where I was supposed to be taught things. I pretty much just remember playing Magic and graduating kind of early, and I, like, Brock, you tell me all the time, oh, remember this teacher and this person? No. The answer is no. I remember nothing from high school. Now, to be fair, I remember nothing from yesterday, so I have, like, the worst memory of all time.
You do.
But...
Yes.
But
that's why my stuff never gets ordered.
Yeah, I remember nothing from high school. It left no impression on me, and I was not that I hated it. I had,
hey, those were some good years for you. I mean, you had that goth look down. You know, you had that somber death.
Well,
look
at least
about
had the weight.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
a fat goth is depressing. Like that was like
that's just funny.
No, fat goth is just common. When it's like 135 pounds, I could pull off the trench coat look, but now it's just depressing.
You switched it up. You did the leather coat and the trench coat.
Yeah, my leather coat with the little spikes and everything.
You had the weird Robert Smith hair for a while.
I did.
That was funny.
That was great. You kidding me? Well, as people listening to the podcast may not know, some of our customers might. I mean, I used to have really long hair, like down to my waist. It was super, super long, like blonde ponytail. So my hair has darkened as I gotten older. And I don't dye it anymore or anything anyway, so...
Yeah, when was the last time you dyed it?
It's a couple of years now. I used to dye it all the time, but I just don't anymore. So I got lazy. You get old and lazy and fat and just...
I'd say you just got addicted to WoW a little bit more and you were too busy to do it.
Well, there's that too.
So,
before we get started with this week's episode, I had some sad news that we wanted to pass on to the listeners, as well as any customers of the store, people that are familiar with the store a bit. If you only listened to the podcast a few months ago, I think it was episode 53, 54.
Episode 53,
okay.
I believe, and it was in April.
We had a former employee of the store, Sam Lujan, on, who, great guy. He wanted to come back on a few weeks ago, but couldn't. Longtime friend of the store, longtime employee of the store, personal friend of everyone here. He actually passed away on Friday. Yeah. We're all really, really sad. It's a case I don't want to say. You never want to say it was it was totally unexpected, because it wasn't. I mean, he had been sick, but you just never know. It's something. It could have been 10 years, right? Yeah. And so we're all of us here are. Condolences to his family and everything. And Sam was. If you go back and listen to that episode, I mean, Sam has a lot of energy. He loves comic books. Unmatched. Interest in, especially a lot of the small press, a lot of the indie books. He liked some of the big titles, but he was a huge fan of a lot of the small press guys. A huge Neil Gaiman fan. I mean, bigger Neil Gaiman fan than I am, and that's saying something.
And he knew the history really well too.
Yeah,
like a walking encyclopedia. Yeah.
Well, he's one of these guys. I mean, when we go to conventions, I clam up. I don't talk to people. He'll talk to anyone about anything. Right? Super open, just super personable. Always willing to go and talk. I mean, he knew a bunch of creators. He was always super friendly with them. He talked to everyone. In the last handful of years, he hadn't worked here as much as he had been sick. Yeah. And he pretty much hadn't worked here for about a year and a half, I think, at this point. Mm-hmm. But, yeah. Yeah, so, Sam, this episode's for you. We miss you. We wish we could have had you on here more often. I think people would have liked you.
Yeah, I always wanted him to be a regular on the show, actually. To be honest. Yeah, he would have been great. Yeah,
he's got some great stories, and he was. he had been going to con, especially Comic-Con, every year for maybe since the early '90s, if not the late '80s. I mean, he'd been going forever. He was a mainstay at Comic-Con. In the last couple of years, he hadn't gone, but prior to that, he was always there. I mean, he knew a lot of the retailers and a lot of the dealers.
Yeah, he also put out his portrait book every year too. Yeah, by the name of Blue. So
he had a book of poetry. I don't know if it's how available it is. I think it was like a print on demand thing.
Print on demand, but he always did like a small note he gave out to all the creators. At every con, when he used to go. Yeah, no, a great guy. Definitely will miss him. I also remember when me and my buddy Milton, a friend of the store, went to visit him at the hospital once, and he was really happy to see us, and he was telling us, he goes, yeah, yesterday I was so out of it, I told the nurse that he can't be seen because he doesn't have the mask on right now, or something like that. It was really funny. And the nurse said something, no, it's okay, I'm here to help you, or something like that. He was like, totally so into his comic book that even when he's out of it, he's like, thinking Batman and all that stuff. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I know Omar knew Sam a little bit. Charlie obviously did, being a longtime employee of the store. So I'm sure next week, hopefully they're both back, and we'll probably say a few more things. Yeah.
Well, Sam's the reason I met my girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah, because
didn't know that actually.
Yeah, I don't think I know that either.
It was a couple years ago. It was 2.5 years ago. One of his friends came in, and he hadn't seen her in a while, and he's like, "Dude, you should go out to the rodeo club because she's going to be out there." And I was like, okay, whatever. But turned out another friend of mine was going, so I ended up going out, and that's where I met my girlfriend. So
nice. That sounds like Sam. He would pull something like that.
Nice.
Also, Sam was always a really great collaborator. He actually read a lot of my stuff, gave me really good feedback, and he great friend, really good guy, very smart with storytelling, and he's really good at stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm sure I told this on the episode where he was on, but if I didn't, or if I didn't expand on it, I'll tell it again. At the time, when I was just an employee here at the store at Comic Conspiracy, the owner at the time, Ken, he was good friends with Matt, a guy that owned another store at the time called What's Hot Comics and Cards. Mm-hmm. Sam was actually kind of the me over there. He was kind of the half full, like kind of part-time and a half employee there, did a lot of the ordering, a lot of the day-to-day stuff, and that's
kind of me over at Legends, and
right,
we somehow all ended here.
Yeah. Kind of because the owners are a lot, it's not, I want to say absentee, but definitely not there every day.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a job and working with Sam for about a year and a half to 2 years at What's Hot before I came here. I got a job at the record store and then came here full time.
Yeah.
So I was working at both stores at the same time.
The funny thing is, I might have bought records from you at that store, and we probably didn't even know each other at that time.
Probably. Yeah. I used to get customers all the time would walk in and be like, "Oh, hi," and they're like, "Oh, hey, what? This isn't your store. You're at the wrong store." We worked together for a lot. We worked in a lot of the sales together. I worked the weekend. He worked during the week, so we didn't overlap too much. But it was definitely a good relationship there. And then he started working here. He kind of flipped into the same, where he started working here part time as well as full time over there. And then after they sold the store, eventually came here full time. Not full time, like part time.
Sam Thursdays.
Yeah.
Sam was the Thursday guy.
Yeah.
He kind of, for years, he was the one guy because Thursdays at the time, Ken, the owner, needed off. Then later, I had already kind of delegated that as my day off, so kept that up. And so for over a decade, I mean, he was the only guy here on Thursdays. You get a very solid crew of guys in here, and
I took over for him for a little while when his health started to wane a year and a half ago, and. Those are hot. I mean, there's no way I can fill Sam's shoes just with like information and kind of personality and stuff. But
you've worked days when I've been gone here, and every other call is, is Ryan there? Is Ryan there? Well, I'd worked the days when Sam was there, and every call was, is Sam there? Is Sam there? And so that's how
he was a staple of Thursdays for sure.
That's how you know that that someone's got a really strong following, and it's something that
they
stores
even call on Sundays too. Because me and Sam used to rotate Sundays. Charlie used to do every other Sunday, and me and Sam, for having other jobs, would do the Sunday in between Charlie. Right. So we would like alternate. So even those calls were like towards Sam, like, is he here? Why is he not here?
Yeah. So
he loved this store though.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, even up to the end, I mean, he was bringing me stuff on a regular basis. He was like, I would rather see cool Silver Age books on the wall, and we don't do a ton of old book sales, but we do some. He was like, I'd rather see cool old books on the wall here than for me selling them on eBay. Like,
Sam is one of those guys, man. He could sniff like old books. Like,
oh yeah.
You go to a garage sale and he'd be like, there's some good stuff here, and he'll go find it. He's the one guy that can like sniff it out, and he knows exactly where.
Well, the stories, the stories I would hear about them at Comic-Con, and then you have to keep in mind, this is don't think the last 5 years of Comic-Con. Think the 20 years.
Yeah, the earlier years.
Right. I think the 20 years prior, when it was still just a comic book convention. I mean, he would come back with some amazing stuff that he would find super cheap, and he was always picking up stuff for customers and friends and for himself. And, I mean, it's a business. You got to make some money. I mean, reselling's a whole part of the industry, but, he was always great going out and getting stuff.
You will be missed, Sam.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we will.
Well, actually, a lot of people from the store will miss him.
Yeah.
He was friends with quite a few of the customers and the employees. And
yeah, I'm not looking forward to Wednesday.
Yeah.
I mean, I've called a number of my kind of real close customers, people that I knew him really well, a couple of the distributors, because, I mean, he had dealt with most of the...
Yeah, no, there's a lot of customers that even, like, with him gone, they would still check on him. They were like, hey, have you guys heard of him? How's he doing? Like, even for months and months, for years, they would still ask about him. So that's kind of the lasting impact he left at the store, so...
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be a sad Wednesday. We are. I mean, I don't expect anyone to send stuff in. I mean, you guys don't know him. But for any customers that are listening or anyone that are doing anything that's local to the area, we are actually doing donations for his family.
Yeah.
I think there may be a little bit of financial difficulty because he had been obviously on disability, not working for a long time. I think they're going to need a little bit of help with money wise for funeral and
for
the
funeral arrangements and
all the viewing and all that stuff. So we're actually going to have a little donation button here, a little donation can here at the store. We're going to take donations probably a week or two, and just until everything's done. So if you're local to the area and you want to drop by, and even if it's 50 cents or $1, I mean, they can use all the help they can get. So because he's got 3 kids and a wife, and that's they're no, I don't know, nothing else you can really say about it. It's one of those things where. Life goes on. I ended up calling a bunch of the customers over the weekend, and I'm like, well, let me get the stupid thing out of the way first. How many boxes of HeroClix do you want? Yeah. Okay, now the next thing. Sam passed away. It's like you feel so stupid talking about this stuff, but I think Sam, if he's looking down, it's one of those things where he wants us, to keep talking comics. I mean, that was his life. Yeah. He was such a big comic fan, and
I mean, I know that before he was on, he had said that he was finally. He had said to me that he was finally glad that we finally did the podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Because he was like, that's what you guys needed to do, so...
Yeah. But, let's move on. Don't want to be too depressing.
Talk comics.
You just,
that's what Sam wants.
Exactly. Let's do this. So, what do we got here?
We're gonna do Twitter questions.
Let's
first.
Yeah, we got a few questions on Twitter here. Let's hit up a few of these. I did email the last few weeks, so let's drop some Twitter questions on here.
I got one.
What's your one?
This is from Darth Chris 4.
That would be Chris Noyes, customer and also occasional Geekbox guy. So he's been on the Geekbox a few times with his girlfriend Alia.
Nice. His question is, for serious, barring Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, what do you think was the best superhero game?
That's a damn hard question.
Exactly.
I had fond memories of playing, and I'm sure it's a terrible game now if I went back to play it, but I had a lot of fond memories of playing Captain America and the Avengers in the arcade. It was a side-scroller.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It was Cap, Iron Man, Vision, and Hawkeye, if I'm not mistaken. It was like I think a 2-player but 4 characters, side-scrolling.
Side-scroller. Kind of like the X-Men one.
Right, yeah, not as good. I mean, that X-Men one is, for what it was great. I mean, it's super short now. If you look at it, it's kind of goofy. But, for a quarter, just dropping quarters, and that was a lot of fun.
The Pizza Hut days. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I remember when City Heroes came out. I mean, it's not a licensed game, but City Heroes was, that's a fantastic superhero game. I mean, it's not going to stand up to some of the better MMOs, but it's still running. It's got a great fan base. People really like it. The character generator in City Heroes is probably unmatched today. Just the stuff you can throw on them. Well, maybe Champions is better. I don't know. I didn't really get into Champions, but City Heroes is a lot of fun. And the other one, which I never played, but everyone tells me was great, and maybe I'll play it one day, it's called Freedom Force? Freedom Fighters? No, Freedom Force, I think is what it was called. Hold on, let me look this up. I'm thinking the right thing. It's kind of like a golden age kind of precursor to these MMOs.
Well, recollect.
That sound right?
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, Freedom Force. Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. Yeah. Real-time tactical role-playing game. Oh, by EA. Yeah, you've all seen this cover on the back of the comics.
Yeah.
A Captain America kind of guy in a super
Yeah.
in a super Jack Kirby pose, punching forward. So,
well, mine was now. Bear in mind, I grew up playing Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So mine was when X-Men came to the arcades. It blew my mind.
oh, like the Marvel
the fighter. Yeah, it's
Marvel superheroes.
What started the Marvel superheroes
Sure.
thing? All the Capcom versus Marvel stuff, but it started with X-Men. It was I think it was called X-Men: Children of the Atom. I just showed up one day at the arcades and the Pizza Hut, and I was like, "Holy fuck! It's Street Fighter, but with Marvel characters. This is awesome!" So that's probably my favorite superhero game.
I think that for me,
Standout. Yeah.
I think the standout for me might be because, I mean, this goes way, way back, but like I really enjoyed that early Batman game on Nintendo.
I don't remember ever playing it. I must have, but I've actually heard that as a good game for the time.
And then
I remember playing a good one on Game Boy. I have no idea what it was, but it was
Toby,
some kind of Batman one.
This one's for you.
Yeah.
Was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
See, I was going to say
on
that.
Nintendo.
I was going to say that, but I don't think of the Ninja Turtles as superheroes. So superheroes to me is more like guys in tights.
Well, hold on. Just two questions. First of all, the turtle stuff is based on the cartoons. So, but I mean, I guess technically it's based on. But did you say Turtles on the Nintendo?
It was the Turtles on the Nintendo.
Like that
Are you
one.
talking the side-scrolling one where you're beating up Krang and all those?
Yeah.
Or are you talking the one where you're going into the sewers? That's the hardest fucking game of all time.
That's probably
No, it was the one for Nintendo.
That's the one where you go in the sewers. That one was horrible.
If that's the one you're talking about, you're fired.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's the worst game ever.
If it's the
side,
made no sense.
if it's a side-scrolling one where you're beating up Kang and Rocksteady and Bebop,
it was the same. It was the same style as the Batman one.
Okay, that's fine. That was actually an arcade game that they ported.
That's for Super Nintendo.
It was for Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I love that one.
Okay.
That one I love.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
No, I know which one you're talking about. The one that was like, it was side scrolling, but it was kind of tilted.
There was like a map.
That's the Turtles in Time.
That's the one. No,
which was also a arcade game, but there was like a abbreviated version. Was the Super Nintendo version.
The original TMNT game for the Nintendo was a top-down view where you're driving the van around.
Yeah. It was super hard.
That game was awful.
Yeah.
Like I hated that game more than anything. It was so hard.
They had
the hardest
two
game
more on the Nintendo.
Of that same style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There was two sequels to that one.
There was a side-scrolling one that I remember.
Yeah, if that's the one you're talking about.
Super Nintendo one.
That's the Super Nintendo one.
That's Turtles in Time, and that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
I played a lot of the Game Boy ones, man. Wow, yeah.
Well, I think the hard part is that the Arkham Asylum and Arkham City have kind of those games are.
It's like Batman Begins of video games.
Yeah,
they kind of reestablished the whole genre.
Yeah, they took what was really, really popular with like Grand Theft Auto and all these other types of games, and then was like, let's apply the Batman universe to it, and they made it gritty, and they made it just an awesome game to play.
Yeah.
So
this next question is from Joshua. He asks, "What are some creative teams you wish could happen?"
Well, I already mentioned it last week.
What was that?
The Avengers with Josh Whedon.
Oh yeah. That is such an open topic. I don't know. Creative teams, I'd want, I don't even know about books, but anyone, guys like Grant Morrison or Neil Gaiman with, but then you get, I want Grant Morrison with Frank Wiley. Well, it's happened a bunch.
Well, is this a question apply with, do we pick something and say who we'd like to write it? Is that more...
Or is it for MarvelNOW? Or
what? No, just in general. Whatever you want.
Well, maybe he wants to hear team-ups that haven't happened yet.
Right, exactly.
What would be a good combo?
I want Neil Gaiman and Jim Steranko to do a book together. So there you go. I want them on Sandman Mystery Theater. That's what I want.
I'd like to see. I
want someone good.
You know what? I'd like to see Scott Snyder and Jim Lee team up.
I could see that.
That would be sick.
You want someone good on Gambit?
Yeah, I want someone good on Gambit. Please.
Who do you put on Gambit? Let's think current creative, modern creative teams, people that are still working regularly. Who could do Gambit well?
Who do I like lately? I don't even know. I'm just not impressed with anything that they've done with Gambit lately.
How about
including that new book, that number one?
Like Ivan Rice.
Really.
How about How about when you like your manga guys? You want to see it? You want to see one of those guys take over?
Done. Matt did it. That's been done.
No, I mean like full on like Japanese manga.
No,
writer artist.
It could work actually. I mean, with Gambit, it could actually work. But
yeah,
I don't know. I like the guy who did that new X-Men, where it wasn't really, or the New Warriors, which was the new X-Men characters as warriors. That guy I like a lot. Whatever his name was. Shoots.
The last New Warriors run?
Yeah, the one that wasn't really the New Warriors. There was a bunch of X-Men characters without powers that had like, these power-ups.
Yeah, it was the last one where they went forward in time at the end.
No, well, I don't know where when the artist left, I stopped reading the book. I think he's the artist on Ultimate X-Men right now. He is kind of cartoony looking though. I wouldn't mind him on Gambit. That'd be good. Or
who do you want to write Gambit?
That's a good question because so far I haven't been happy. Actually, I wouldn't mind the guy who wrote the original miniseries to come back. I thought he had a good grasp on it.
Was that not Fabian Nicieza?
No, the first miniseries was someone else, I think.
Was it?
I'll look. Give me a second while you keep talking.
I don't know, Ryan. Who do you want to... I mean, I know you threw it a kind of throwaway one. Who would you like to see on something?
Neil Gaiman and Jim Steranko on a Sandman Mystery Theater book is throwaway. That'd be awesome.
It would be awesome, but Sandman, they're not going to do Sandman Mystery Theater.
They should.
I need to read those. Are those out of print?
No, I think they're all still available.
Okay. Howard Mackey.
Oh, really? No, you don't want to... Well, Howard Mackey's working for DC right now.
Yeah.
He's doing some okay stuff.
What is he on right now?
I like that first miniseries a lot, man.
Yeah, but I think if you went back and read it now, you may... It's a little 90s.
Yeah.
A little 90s. You know, when we say, like, comics are 90s, it's true. Like, there are... Like, you can tell the comics from the 90s.
Yeah. All right, well, here I got a question from Lou here, who asks, most anticipated Marvel Now book and least anticipated, which blends perfectly into our next segment.
Oh, I could easily say it is the Hulk with Mark Waid and Lionel.
That's your most anticipated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
just for a creative standpoint. I was like, those two, it's kind of like, what creative team do you want to see? That one, when you mentioned it, I was like, what? I would never picture the two together, but it makes a lot of sense, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Cool. Brock, I know you hate everything Marvel, but you got to have something. Any of these, even some of the rumored teams. I mean, not official yet. Anything catching your eye?
I think for me, it's the double-edged sword because of what we're going to talk about next after this, or with this, I should say,
right.
Is I was looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy, but
Still rumor, so we'll see.
With what the creative teams that are going to be on it now, I think it's like really on par with Nova.
Was your most anticipated, but now it's no longer.
What's your most anticipated? What's your most anticipated?
None of it.
All right.
I am not looking forward to any of the Marvel Now books.
All right. For me, it's easily Jonathan Hickman on Avengers. This could break my 10-year not buying Avengers streak. If Hickman can't do it...
Honestly, that's a good one, too.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed his Fantastic Four and FF run.
I'm
really good.
I want an FF omnibus. If they do a nice big oversized hardcover of everything, I will grab that because it's FF.
I think with the Hickman stuff, I think I'll start trying to pick up, I'll read Avengers with Hickman on it and see how I like it, because I did enjoy going back to the Hickman stuff with the Fantastic Four. So, but getting it now, it's like I'm a little too far behind. It's just better to do trades, but a nice omnibus of his stuff would be nice to have.
It would be two. I don't like it when it's super, super fat, even though Charlie likes it that way.
I mean, I am curious about Remender and Brian Hitch. Is it Brian Hitch? Yeah, Brian Hitch. No, it's not Brian Hitch. Who's doing Uncanny Avengers? I'm totally drawing a blank. This guy that did John Cassaday. I mean, I am curious about that. I've liked the majority of Remender's X-Force. Cassaday's a good artist when he can be. I mean, some of his that cover is a little, but overall, he is a good artist. So I'm curious about that one. I just don't know if the concept is interesting. But
that's
Hickman's
the time
Avengers
one, right?
No. That's the Bendis one where the X-Men go forward in time.
Oh, geez.
No, Uncanny Avengers is just the Uncanny X-Men and the Avengers, like kind of one book. So I'm curious to see what Hickman does with the Avengers. I mean, it could totally fall apart. He's building a huge team. I think the last team that was this big, because I think he said there was like 18 members or something. The last team that was this big was what the hell's his face? Kurt Busiek's run with Mark Bagley and few other guys. Or George Perez.
No, George Perez.
Sorry.
Yeah, that no.
You were talking about Classic Thunderbolts before we started recording. That's Mark Bagley, which is great stuff too.
Yeah.
But maybe the last time I really liked Mark Bagley as well. But no.
Ultimate Spidey was after that, wasn't it?
Yeah, the later part of it. Anyway, but yeah, no, that was the last time we saw an Avengers team quite that big, and I'll be curious to see what he does. I mean, Hickman's. I mean, he's nailing it at Marvel. I'd love to see what he can do. So yeah, but least favorite looking forward creative team. Earlier than today, I don't know what I would have said, but I now have two choices thanks to Rich Johnson over at Bleeding Cool, maybe the only man alive that actually has some comic book news that isn't fed to him by Marvel and DC for once. He has a whole bunch of creative team changes that are coming up for a bunch of different books. Some of these are kind of weird. He says Jeff Johns and Ivan Rice are leaving Aquaman. It's bizarre because I saw Jeff Johns post something on Twitter this morning saying he was like, no, I'm totally staying on the book forever. But I didn't see that tweet when I looked for it again. I don't know if he deleted it. I don't know if I hallucinated. Like, I don't know what the deal with that is.
Maybe he hallucinated.
There was Andy Diggle rumored to be taking over for Grant Morrison on Action Comics. Which I loved Losers. I hated Daredevil.
Yeah.
But neither of those are like Superman. So it's kind of totally unknown.
Well, I think that it's not necessarily. It's one of those things where we'll see.
Yeah.
It can go either way.
Yeah.
So
one of Toby's favorites, Ali Garza joining Daniel Way on X-Force. Again, another rumor.
Oh, with Daniel Way.
Yeah, Daniel Way's cool.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for that.
Yeah.
Only if Ali Garza could keep the book up.
Yeah. Which... You think he'll do 2 issues and out?
No, I think he'll do probably 3, then probably fill in an artist. He'll probably do 1 more after that, and then we'll probably see him disappear.
And that'll be
randomly. That's my whatever it's called. Prediction. Yeah.
But if I had to have a least favorite creative...
I love the guy, though. But.
Yeah. If I had to have a least favorite creative team, it would be the 2 rumored today on Bleeding Cool, which I think we've kind of mentioned these before. And this has been rumored for a while, but but Rich has constantly this pretty much confirmed in his mind. So Brian Michael Bendis, and Salvador LaRocca, who's a great artist. So I'm not going to.
Salvador did what again?
He's done a bunch of stuff. Didn't he do He did a lot of X-Men. He didn't do the Inhuman series. The last thing I know Salvador LaRocca did, he did a lot of X-Men stuff. He did Extreme X-Men.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah. He did. He did a long run on that with Chris Claremont.
Yeah. His art is clean. I like it.
Yeah, he's a good artist. Perfect for Guardians of the Galaxy. I can totally see it fitting in. It's just the Brian Michael Bendis part that I'm not sold on.
Yeah, I mean, because it's just going to be the Secret Avengers, right?
Well, I don't think so. I have no idea what it's going to be.
And then the worst news known to man.
Well, yeah. Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness on Nova, dumb new baby stupid Nova. That's in the baby Spider-Man cartoon for babies.
That's the Ultimate Spider-Man, not the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon, by the way.
It's not Amazing or Ultimate, trust me.
I know.
Jeff Loeb. Again, Ed McGuinness I really like. Really like Ed McGuinness as an artist. Again, artists on both of these, totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, McGuinness, his art style is clean, it's nice, it has its own appeal, but...
I don't see Ed McGuinness on Nova. That's my concern. That's not a book he's drawn before. Our team does not.
It'll be a big helmet.
He should be some Shazam.
I don't know. Like Ed McGuinness, like his Hulk stuff was really good.
Yeah.
The art was good, I should say. He is kind of like John Romita Jr. He draws big guys really good. Nova is not even an adult. He's like a kid. So I just don't. Unless he's going to be
like the kid from Kick-Ass, just with like wearing Nova shit.
Yeah, kinda. I just don't know what the plan here is. I'd be really curious if Mark Waid, because Mark Waid was doing it. Was it Stuart Eminem? I don't remember who's doing the art on the digital ones they were doing.
The Infinite?
On the Infinite comic thing. If it was Mark Waid on that on a Nova series, even if it's this dumb new Nova kid, okay, that's workable. At least those are 2 creators I like.
Is that Nova kid going to go into Guardians?
Don't know.
Maybe?
Don't know.
Jeez. It's like this. It's like the poison that gets in.
But and I know it's just sales thing. Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness, Brian Michael Bendis, they're going to sell books. They're going to sell more than DNA. They're going to sell more than the other guys they had on these books prior. But man, the rumor, I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, guys, that they have some cast info or some plot info for the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
I saw the post, but I didn't get to read it.
It's basically pilot from Earth goes into space and joins the Guardians of the Galaxy. But there's been two people thrown around as who that could be. A lot of people are actually hoping it's Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, which would be cool. A female-fronted Marvel movie, I think, would be interesting.
That would be kind of cool
because she's the only other pilot. But it's gonna be Vance Astro. I mean, that's the story. He's the one that ends up running the Guardians of the Galaxy. Alternate world version of Vance Astrovic, Marvel Boy. So we're at the point now where we could possibly even have Nova or a Nova Corps or something in a Guardians of the Galaxy like live action movie. You're basically going to have one of my Marvel Boy, one of my favorite characters, in a Marvel movie, more than likely.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, they're so tainted because it's not.
Yeah, it's the Speedball taint. It's like it's Speedball is your favorite character, but he's forever tainted.
I think there's a picture of my face on like a dartboard in the Marvel office of just being like, okay, Ryan, we fucked Speedball, right? We killed all his favorite characters. Now what can we do? Okay, well, let's change this up.
Let's push this guy and see how far he'll go.
Yeah, it's like trying to make me snap or something. Like I'm taking this personally now.
Well, it's like I'm rooting for Marvel then.
No, if it was Jeff Loeb and like Rob Liefeld on Nova, then it was it was on purpose. But
no, I think that like for me, I think the hard thing is Guardians was the last book from Marvel that I really really enjoyed.
Yeah.
That, like I mean, it was a fun read. The story was great, and it really, really kind of, kept me tied to the Marvel Universe in wanting to read things. But then when that went away, I was kind of like, and then now they're bringing it back, but it seems more like they're bringing it back with, kind of this hype from the announcement of the film. So I don't know if it's, I'll read it.
yeah.
But I can't really say that I'm going to buy it. Because you remember when...
I wouldn't say I was missing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm missing it, Bob. No, was it... you remember I was buying Guardians? I was like buying 2 issues. Yeah. Like every week. Because I wanted one to, read and I wanted one to keep nice. So...
Toby, if you remember our talks on the creative teams, is there any there that kind of stuck out as kind of big losers for you? Because honestly, besides these...
Well, I mean, we just talked about this before the podcast. I mean, Brian Michael Bendis went from one of my favorite writers to one of my least looking forward to. Yeah. Jeff Loeb after the Hulk, one of the guys I used to love reading books of, went from, my favorite to
See, what's funny? The difference between Bendis and Loeb to me, I don't hate anything I've read by Bendis. There are some stuff I don't like. But to me,
he destroyed the Avengers.
Well, you're not wrong there.
Yeah.
But it's not that the books themselves were bad. It's not that the writing per se was bad. It was just the overall direction and
which
plot.
Which might not them. I mean, which could be the Marvel office goes, this is the direction we want to go, and just write it.
Possibly. And I never came out of an issue of New Avengers going like, this was the worst comic I've ever read. It just disappointed me monthly. And Jeff Loeb is a different story. Jeff Loeb, I read and I'm like,
nuts.
My brain shuts down.
I mean, there was a break. I mean, you go back and you read Jeff Loeb stuff like, was it Long Halloween and
phenomenal stuff.
What he did Daredevil Yellow, and Spider-Man Blue, and
I actually really like all that stuff.
I mean, he had some great stuff, but I mean, when his son passed away, I mean, you saw the break. I mean, it was boom from then on. It's just like
All right, you guys want to talk about a literal comic conspiracy?
Sure.
You ready to hear about this?
Okay.
Boo.
Okay. So, last week, a book came out called Walking Dead. You guys maybe have heard of this.
Walking Dead? What is that?
Issue number 101 came out, obviously, right off the heels of the best-selling in a decade comic book, Walking Dead number 100 from Image Comics, which we still have plenty of 8 cover packs, by the way, if anyone's still interested. We still got a bunch of those available. $24.99, free shipping. Actually, no, I'm sorry, not free shipping. That's my mistake. but it's 20% off cover price. So there you go. There's your savings.
Just tell them it's like $30.
It is like 29 something. Anyway, a variant cover came with this issue of Walking Dead called the Ghost variant. Mm-hmm. Now, this is all kind of behind the scenes, inside baseball for people listening. So hopefully
this is inside baseball from Comics Pro, right?
So hopefully this isn't too boring for people. But here's a story. Here's a story from this side of the cash register. Okay, so let me know what you guys think of this. This book shipped to about 20 to 30 retailers across the country. Myself, another comic store employee, Larry at Larry's Comics over in my hometown, Massachusetts, or my home state of Massachusetts. A couple other retailers, including Brian Hibbs up at Comic Experience in San Francisco, and a few others. We started to notice a weird pattern here. This wasn't something that was shipped directly to stores. This is something that various stores ordered through Diamond. There was a Diamond code attached to it and everything. So this is something that Diamond was shipping to retailer stores or to retailers. Some people were selling this book for $10. Some people ended up selling these on eBay for $50 to $100. Right, so this is a fairly expensive variant.
What's the deal here? Is just a variant, or why is it called a Ghost issue?
And here comes the conspiracy. Right?
I like it.
Mm-hmm. So, looking through some of the stores that had this variant, it became clear that there was a bit of a lot of these stores had a few things in common, and one of them was many of them were members or former members of Comics Pro. It's a comic organization, which I'm a member of. We basically get cheap credit card processing. We get occasionally these variants. But you get kind of special deals from companies. You kind of go in as a big collective to approach companies and be like, hey, look, we got 200 or 300 dealers that want to go in on this thing. What kind of deals can you give? We approach Marvel and DC as a group going, this is our, we all sign up, we all get a paper and be like, we all agree that this is a direction that we approve or disapprove of. It doesn't do a ton, but, I think they've done some good stuff throughout the years.
It's like a union, but not.
Collective.
It's a collective.
Yeah, I'm not a big union guy, so when this started, I was kind of like, this kind of like a union.
Do you have to pay fees?
Yes, but
it is a union.
But the deducted, but like you literally. The credit card fees are taken out in a month and a half. It's kind. If you want to call it a union, go ahead and call it a union. But you can quit anytime. It's kind of a weird thing. You don't have to be
insurance?
in it. We get access to insurance. I don't use it though. I have different insurance.
It's basically what you said. It's a group of small businesses, comic book shops getting together to get discounted things like discounted credit card,
right.
Discounted health insurance.
Right.
It's trying to get as much possible to help each other out.
First members, exactly. So one thing that was pointed out to me on Tuesday when this was first going off was that a number of the board members of Comics Pro, of which there are 7, and like a head of the board of directors, so 8 total. A couple of them were on this list. We actually went back through Facebook page, Twitter, eBay, and found that all the board members, including the board of director, all got this variant cover. Comics Pro, when it has stuff available, it's only available to all members, right?
Okay.
As we started to look more at the list, more of these people ended up being former board members, friends of board members, a very kind of inner circle, if you will. And there were a couple that weren't. I'll admit there were a few that seemed kind of random, right?
Yeah.
But it seemed
to you, maybe. Oh.
Exactly. But a good number of these seemed fairly
connected group.
Exactly, connected. And when pressed, the board and everyone that replied, there's only a couple of them. Most of them didn't reply. There's only a few that replied. Were very defensive, very quick to say, oh, this is not a Comics Pro thing. This is not a Comics Pro thing. And we're like, yeah, we know that, but who is this ghost? So this book was... The story is that a mysterious benefactor, quote unquote, approached all these stores and said, hey, we want to do this variant for you guys. Not that these guys got together and said, we want to do a variant for this book, but that this mysterious stranger approached all these stores with this offer.
Maybe it was a stranger.
Well, maybe it's a guy that used to be a Comics Pro guy, and then maybe is working for Image now. It's not so far-fetched.
No.
Yeah. And then, he's reaching out to his old buddies going, hey, we could do this. Let's do it.
Exactly. It sounds to me like, at least from kind of the explanation we've been given, is they're aware of who this person is that puts this together. It was not done through Comics Pro. But it's kind of like, okay, everyone step out of the circle for a minute, sign this paperwork, now step back in. And, it wasn't part of Comics Pro, right?
Yeah.
The assumption is that this ghost, right, this mysterious individual, will then select other retailers for another variant down the road. But maybe it's just going to be these same guys again.
So it's just some guy decided who gets these books and who doesn't.
That's the story we're being pitched.
Huh.
And it seems...
And nobody knows who this guy is. It could be Kirkman himself.
And these people know. And here's the concern.
Well, the people that got the book know who it is?
Yeah, they know who it is, and they're not talking.
Huh.
Which makes it kind of weird. And the fact that this is orderable through Diamond, this is something that's in their system...
Wait, so if it's orderable, why can't you just order it?
Because our account isn't active to order it. I can look it up, I can see it, but I can't order it. You had to be one of these members to order it. Or one of these select few to order it. So, of course, there have been multiple people going like...
What the hell?
How do you guys not... how do you not see that 100% of the board members and like 80% of former board members are getting this? And Brian Hibbs up in San Francisco, who's one of the few guys that didn't get it, who he was a board member, is known for refusing variants, throwing them away, or giving them to customers for free because he refuses to sell variants. Yeah. He absolutely refuses.
Well, and he's one of the original founders.
I don't know if he's a founder. I mean, he was a board member. I honestly don't know. No, it's possible.
I think when I read his article on the MarvelNOW thing, it said that he did a lot in the beginning of comics.
Yeah, he was involved. I don't know if he was a founder, but he was involved. In fact, if you read Brian Hibbs' weekly or mostly monthly article, Tilting at Windmills, which is on Comic Book Resources, for what I understand, his next one's going to be all about this. So much more than I can explain in 10 minutes. He will have a very lengthy post about this entire. I assume a very lengthy post about this entire situation.
It's one of those things where it's like with The Walking Dead 100. You guys got the Comixology variant because you're a digital store.
Well, and here's the thing. So Walking Dead specifically has some weird variants behind it. And I don't, I agree that some of these are kind of shady and it should be something that's open to everyone or no one. The other two variants, so we did get two of these variants. Two for number 100. One was the Comixology variant. If you were a retailer with a Comixology account, they reached out to Image and said, hey, we'd like to do a variant for Walking Dead 100 and gave them to retailers who were part of Comixology.
Is it a digital variant?
No, it's a physical variant, right? So there's only about 100 stores that sell them or 150 or something, but there are many retailers who have Comixology accounts for their pull boxes and ordering systems and everything like that, so I can set up an order online for people to update their sub list through Comixology. So estimated 500 retailers have Comixology accounts, so they sent out 500 of those. I did get one of the Walking Dead 100 signed Lucille variants, signed by Robert Kirkman, which the number I've heard was 100 copies to either the people that ordered the most or increased their order the most. I don't know.
Well, we ordered a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we were one of the top. I'm assuming we were one of the top 100 stores that ordered it. So, it's a weird case. And so, I mean, but I totally understand why people that didn't get those variants would be pissed. Like, oh, why didn't I get it? I ordered a lot. But at least there's a known quantity there.
Yeah.
I don't qualify for 95% of the 1 in 200 variants. You have to order 200 copies.
I didn't get my Gambit variant.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You have to order 200 copies of a book to get the special variant cover. But at least it's a known thing. If I wanted to get it, I could. These two variants that Walking Dead did for 100... it's kind of split the retailers a bit, and I totally agree. I mean, I got them. I'm happy to get them, but I totally agree. Kind of not so hot. Yeah. This is on like a whole nother level, but it's still in the same ballpark.
Well, this didn't have any public or not public, but any behind the counter thing. Like you knew ordering X amount from.
I didn't. I mean, the Lucille variant and the Comixology variant. No idea. Those are freebies. But no one had any idea about.
Yeah,
that.
No one had any idea. But that's just their way of saying thank you.
Yeah, that's a little different too.
Sure. But at least we know why we got them.
Yeah. This other one was kind of like, why did these people got them, and why?
Yeah, there's no reason behind it.
And there was talk like they had various members had like joined the Facebook group for the Ghost variant before it was even public. They had been tweeting about it for a few weeks with these kind of weird cryptic tweaks that we didn't know what it was. A couple of them reached out and said, hey, we actually got to vote on the cover and all this. So they had well in advance knowledge of this.
This is really weird.
Yeah. So it's funny because like this got posted on Bleeding Cool and I saw a few people talking about it, but like this isn't an actual there's possibly even legal ramifications here because this is like collusion and like stores operating kind of against others. It's actually possibly. I don't want to say I'm not an expert.
Well, how many variants did these stores get? Just one per store?
No. They got like they could order. I mean, it has been. I've been under the assumption that multiple stores got enough to then resell to multiple other stores. So we're talking
what? That's
50,
lame.
100, 200 copies. And you're selling those for $50 a pop? It's not like it's one variant or two variants. They were able to order this. The print run we've heard is between 3,000 to 4,000 copies.
And the Image has nothing to say about this? Kirkman Image, did they haven't seen a statement yet?
No, and it's...
Do they know that happened? Maybe some crazy person is printing its own cover and ripping covers off and putting covers on the books.
I'm assuming they did, yeah. I mean, it came through Skybound, which is Robert Kirkman's company and all that. So it didn't come through Image, it came through Skybound. So they're involved. I mean, they know what's going on. To me, it's like, look, you want to do special variants, you want to reward people, that's cool. You want to make it super hard to get, that's cool. But this Cloak and Dagger shit and being like real quiet about it's...
Well, I mean, Kirkman might not have known about it until it was brought up. Like, Kirkman could have just been like, oh, okay, it's being ordered, and then now it's like, it's coming out that it's these select few and all this stuff. So
yeah, that's really not cool.
Kirkman might be trying to, he has to cover himself legally because it's like, well, if this is happening and we're part of it, we could be liable for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a case again, as we've proven many times in the show. None of us are lawyers.
Nope.
I've just I've read some of the stuff.
Yeah, I was going to start smiling when you start saying legally. I'm like, okay, there we go.
I've read some of the stuff in the retailer forums and other places that there's it doesn't look too good. And my frustration and numerous other members' frustration. Various people have told me they're quitting straight up. They're quitting Comics Pro over this. This is ridiculous. This is over. They're done. They're not going to renew next year, and that's it. And to me, it's like I don't care that much. It's just if we see more of this stuff coming up.
What exactly? Retailers or
Comics Pro?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Members that want to quit. Yeah. Because the whole thing with Comics Pro, their thing is if we do a variant, we do one a year or like one or two a year at max. And it is orderable for all Comics Pro people.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
And it's like we can order there was a Comics Pro one for not AVX, was it Secret Invasion?
Because then you could call it a Comics Pro variant.
We could order 3. Right, and Comics Pro variant was on the cover. I mean, that is exactly...
That makes sense.
Right, exactly. And, for people that can't get it, if you're not a Comics Pro member, you can join up and order it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Make it fair.
Right, and for this, done through Comics Pro or not, when you have 8 of the 8 board members involved in something with, at a max of 30 stores, that's such a huge percent. That's not by accident.
Yeah.
Now, it could be Image or someone else just going, hey, look, these are all the stores we feel have helped out the industry. Comics Pro has helped out the industry. We want to reward these people next year. Yeah. I'm not saying that couldn't be the case. It's very possible. It just feels fishy. Yeah.
Well, if it's Image saying that or Skybound saying that they want to reward stores, right, that help the industry, well, wouldn't it be kind of random?
Well, no, what Ryan is saying, it's specifically, who knows if they help Image in a specific way in the past and stuff like that. That's understandable, but the fact that Image is not saying anything about it
and
makes it seem less likely that that's the case.
Yeah, it just feels no one's talking about it. No one, a mysterious individual. That's all they say, and it's like...
I kind of like the name.
Is this a smoking man?
Issue.
Well, and like I said, next month we may see a new Ghost variant open up to a whole new other group of stores, and maybe...
Well, if that's the case, that's fine too. If it's like a roving, selecting few that get these variants, but come on, just announce it.
Tell us this. This is the case, and no one will care anymore.
Yeah.
But but of course, the other case is this. These stores get Walking Dead. What if we get, Savage Dragon, all right? A book that no one gives two shits about.
Yeah.
Again, some sort of possible favoritism. It's a shitty situation, and I'm actually surprised more people haven't been talking about this because I think this is something that's...
I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, well,
I was like, that's the first time I heard about it. I was like, what?
But it's one of those funny things where this is like an actual like real news thing that is like
This is a real comic conspiracy.
But this is actually like this isn't like they're killing Nightcrawler, this is like an
This is
actual
an actual conspiracy.
but no one gives two shits about it.
Screwing us.
Yeah, it's super funny.
This is actual news that people should be talking about. But meanwhile, they're watching their Fox News version of Nightwing getting killed off.
What?
Yes.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles getting killed off.
Forget you.
I know.
I don't think we had a lot else to talk about. So I think we're gonna do something we've been slacking on recently. I think I'm gonna do a quick random pick.
What?
We got a few minutes here. I think let's throw some random picks out here because I actually got one. I want to talk about here.
Oh, all right.
I've been catching up on a whole bunch of books, and a book I've been counting up recently. And I know Brock doesn't seem to like this book, but I actually really like it a lot. I liked it actually a lot more than I thought I was going to. And that's The New Edwardians from Vertigo. It's written by Dan Abnett, part of the, as we mentioned, Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning.
Is
also,
the D part of DNA?
Also known as DNA, that did a lot of the stuff for Marvel as well as, a lot of their space stuff.
Resurrection
Nova
Man.
And Resurrection Man as well. Yep, for the about to be canceled Resurrection Man.
And they're doing the Hypernaturals right now.
Which I get into.
I can't get into it either.
This book, though, is a miniseries from Vertigo. I believe it's 8 issues. Really caught me off guard. So it's pitched as a vampire and zombie comic, and to me that's like, oh, okay, whatever. It's actually a real interesting twist, though. It takes place in the early 1900s in England, and it's a group of people who have basically zombies have taken over the world, and not taken over the world. There are zombies everywhere. There's lots of places where you can't get into, and they never use the word vampire. But as the issues go on, you kind of realize, okay, they're vampires. A lot of humans they get turned into, quote unquote, the young. They become vampires in order to not be seen by the zombie herds. So the zombies are only going after the living. Vampires are dead or undead. So the zombies ignore them. So many rich people throughout the country have taken the cure, is what they call it, and become a vampire in order to, be able to survive in this world. Then it's a very posh England, and everyone's being, very, it's only the rich can become the young. And it's a really cool art. This guy, INJ Culbard. I've never heard of this guy before. I don't know what else he's done. Great art. Totally fits the series. Just cool. Well, but the whole plot is one of these, the young, gets killed off in the first issue, and they don't know what happens. Like, they can't figure out why he died. So the whole thing is sort of this one inspector's kind of going through trying to figure out his death. But it's a super cool concept. It's a cool twist on the whole vampire zombie thing. I mean, you now almost never see the zombies. They're like in the background of a couple shots, but they're just like this outside factor that doesn't really affect the sort of the inner London and the inner England that is being run by basically vampires. Yeah. But they're walking around in the sun and all that stuff, so there's not like it don't take place at night or anything kind of cheesy. It's pretty cool. I think they're up to issue 4 or 5. So
4, I think.
Yeah,
5 should be coming out soon.
Yeah, so I think it's an 8-issue miniseries. So if you like vampires and zombies, but maybe a little, or if you don't, but like a little different twist on it, I recommend this. That's all I got.
Do you got anything?
No, I'm so behind on reading. The only current issue I read was Gambit #1, and
what do you think? You don't even have to like it.
Good and bad. I don't know where it's going. I mean, again, it's a first issue. Sure. Everybody's writing into arcs now. So
sure. Well, you love Gambit.
I love Gambit, and I don't really know what happened recently with Gambit. So he's talking about being a teacher and stuff like that. So it makes me kind of curious about the X-Men books and stuff. Of course, now I'm mixing my memories up with White Collar, which probably was similar with the issue. So I'm like not clear if there's like certain characters in it or not.
The TV show White Collar?
Yeah. It was the first issue was very similar to White Collar, like the way Gambit goes in and wants to go steal something. So yeah, no, I mean it's just nothing special. It was just nothing came out going, yeah, this is like the Gambit I've been waiting for. No, it's just.
But if you're a Gambit starved fan, worth picking up the first
I
issue?
don't know. I really don't know. See, and I am a Gambit Star fan, though. I mean, when they announced that they were going to do this book, I was like, yeah, finally.
Canceled by issue 12?
Maybe. Maybe. I gotta say the Fabian ones, the run before this one was probably a better start than this one had. The art, I don't know if it fits Gambit, but you know,
The art's a little weird. I haven't read it yet, but it's a little
just
weird.
kind of stiff for Gambit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I don't know. It's
Did you read that Captain Marvel #1 at all? The Miss Marvel, new Captain Marvel series?
no. I'm kind of curious too because it seems like they kind of go the Power Girl route. It seems like I don't know.
Kind of art's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, I should actually rephrase that. The art is fine for another book. It's not.
It just doesn't fit it.
It does not work.
Honestly,
with
I don't
this.
even think the colors work for her. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't
I
read
think
that
the
yet.
mask throws me.
There's a mask.
Yeah, she's all covered up now. She's got like some like punky hair and everything.
Huh.
But I mean, is it a case where maybe the art just doesn't fit, or is it just?
It's
not?
quite possible,
Yeah.
and you know who knows? Maybe the story will get better later on. I mean, there's some seeds in there, and you know I'm curious to see where it goes. It's just it wasn't a Batman that started in the New 52. It wasn't like
Yeah.
oh my god issue. So you know,
No, I know one of your other favorite Marvel is Scarlet Spider-Man.
dude,
But this new series, I mean, so this doesn't have that same sort of.
dude, Scarlet Spider's
That
been
launch.
fun.
Yeah, it has been.
it's just been fun.
I've liked
I
it.
mean, it's just been. Like, you know, you laugh at things and, you know, I don't know. See, I'm not a Deadpool person, but, you know, I kind of figure, like, the way I read Scarlet Spider is how people are reading Deadpool. They're just laughing out loud, and it's just a fun book, man. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, this wasn't the case. And Scarlet Spider took me a little by surprise. I'm like, the first issue was cool. I didn't expect much, you know. By second issue, though, I really took off, and, you know, that one I really like. Gambit #1, you know, not so much. So we'll see where it goes. I'll definitely continue reading. You know, I'll definitely continue buying. But, you know, it's the whole thing about, you know, stop following your favorite characters. You should follow creative teams and stuff like that. I really do believe in it. Sadly, Gambit is one of those very, very few characters where I'm like, okay, it's Gambit. I kind of just have to pick it up.
I never even finished reading the New Warrior series from like Civil
You know,
War.
it didn't go anywhere, though. It's
I think I read the first 12, and like I have them, and they're just sitting there, and I'm like,
yeah,
They didn't
it
go
switched
anywhere.
creative teams. So after a while, it just kind of lost its footing.
So trust me, I'm long. I mean, I've never been the fan to just buy a title.
Yeah.
I can deal with like a crappy fill-in team, or I can deal with like 6 months of.
But see, that New Warriors
Eh.
is more like I love the old New Warriors, but that New Warriors kind of like all my random X-Men characters that I
Yeah.
really like that were
Yeah,
being
yeah.
part of New Warriors.
It was. I mean, the first. I remember that series. The first few issues really kind of they snagged you a little bit, but the order was better. It
I
came out
hated
at-
the Order.
It came out at the same time. It was better than the New Warriors.
I hated the Order.
What do you mean the order?
It was the superhero team based in L.A.
It was like an attempt at like a New Defenders.
Yeah.
Type. It lasted like 8 issues or something. I hated that book.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brock, what you got?
I got a couple.
What you got?
I think everyone should pick up National Comics Eternity.
Just the one shot.
That's the one shot with Kid Eternity. Really, really good. Nice, just one shot introduction to the character.
Yeah.
Don't know if they're going to do anything more with it, but I'd like to see them do some stuff. And I know the
well-
Looker is next.
Yeah, I think the plan with those is just we will.
It's the test the water one shot.
Right, exactly. Which is probably a better idea than what they're trying in the DC Universe Presents.
Yeah, the DC Universe Presents The Dead Man was awesome. Challengers was garbage. Savage was awesome. Kid Flash is even worse garbage. It was so bad.
I haven't read it yet.
Like, it was abysmally bad. I mean,
We're actually talking comics. Comic book podcast.
I think for me though the fun comic for me every month is Suicide Squad and Resurrection Man.
Sure.
Suicide Squad's just been. I mean, it's hit everything. You know, it has action, it has suspense, it's got you waiting for more at the end of every issue.
Ryan Scott must like it then.
So, and what sucks about, like, especially now with the issue 12s, we have to wait a whole month before we can continue with the 13s.
No Wonder Woman 12 talk. I promised Charlie we'd talk about it next week when he's here.
Should have been my pick.
Next week.
Yeah.
No, I think there's a lot of good stuff right now that you can choose from.
Wow, I totally missed that one. Yeah, that should have been
Charlie calls. So this is a little teaser for everyone for next week. Charlie calls me at 9 o'clock at night. He's like, "Dude, did you read Wonder Woman?" And I'm like, Charlie?
Why would you call me in the middle of the night about Wonder Woman?
Yeah. We'll talk Wonder Woman 12 next week. Big implications for the future of the possible big implications for the future of the DC universe. But
hopefully they do. Hopefully it's good implication.
Yeah. Before we close down, real quick,
Tony Scott.
There is a just do that first. Just talk that, and then I got something real quick.
Besides Sam, we also lost Tony Scott over this weekend, who is one of my favorite filmmakers. One of my favorite filmmakers of all time. He made famous movies such as Top Gun and. Man of Fire was just phenomenal.
Didn't he do True Romance too?
True Romance is phenomenal. He
was Enemy of the State. Right?
He's Enemy of the State.
Yeah.
Deja Vu, Unstoppable, Pelham 1, 2, 3, Days of Thunder.
Unstoppable was really, really good.
Yeah, Days of Thunder. I know that Ridley was always the better storyteller. He also got more success, of the two. But to me, Tony has always been the more artistic guy, the guy who'd take more risks, with editing and stuff like that. He was just watching Man on Fire was like, how in the world did you see this? I mean, just putting that movie together was even though it's a remake, but it was like, wow, that was really impressive.
Scott Free together.
Yeah, they also did TV shows together. Numbers. They also produced together. There's Crimson Tide he did too. The first Denzel movie he did, and they paired up quite often after that. As a film guy, hopefully one day be a filmmaker. Tony is a huge loss, and he's one of those few directors. I have an Alfred Hitchcock section, I have a Robert Rodriguez section, I even have a Tarantino, and I have a Tony Scott section, and I don't even, as much as people respect Ridley, I actually don't have a Ridley section. I love Tony Scott, so it's that this happened. It's too bad. So go watch some Tony movies.
I actually, outside of Top Gun, I don't think I've ever seen any of those movies.
Oh, really? Dude, I love those movies, and I don't even know how many times
I've heard of them all.
Yeah. They're
Days of Thunder was amazing.
Yeah, Days of and the way Travolta played, the bad guy in Pelham 1, 2, 3, fantastic. So it's great stuff. And it's just a shame that he had to go. And I think he was working on Top Gun 2. Which is a good or a bad thing, depending how you look at it. So I don't know. It's just a shame.
The last thing that I read it was that he had he was diagnosed with inoperable brain tumor.
Brain tumor supposedly. And this is the kind of way I envision it. And there's probably maybe a more positive outlook in things of either had pain that he couldn't take care of. As an action director, even me, the way I see the world is shit's happening, things are exploding left, right. Even when I'm just driving to work, I was imagine this shit happen. And the way I figure is he probably sees the same things, So, as the way he sees the world, the way he directs his movies, the action stuff is not easy. People make fun of Michael Bay. Directing action is not easy. You have to choreograph everything. It's like doing a dance movie, But, the way I figure is maybe he just want to take control of it himself. I'm he's an action director. He probably goes, fuck it. I want to control it myself. This is the bridge. And I read an article that's a bridge he's been wanting to use. So maybe he made that his final act, So I don't know. Nobody will know. So like I said, condolences, family and friends. And, it's a loss for the industry for sure.
We got one last thing before we wrap up here. Some of you guys may have seen this making some headlines in the comic news last week, how the top-selling book on Amazon.com for the last week has been actually a kind of a comic book. It's is it
Zelda?
It's a Zelda book, and I totally just blanked on the name of the book. I'm going to grab it up here and look it up here. It's Hyrule Historia. It is a English translation of a Japanese book that came out, I want to say last year.
Now, is it a comic book based on the history, or is it
it's not a comic book?
It's not a comic book.
No,
right?
so it's actually being published by Dark Horse through Diamond Comics. So this is why this kind of came up in the comic news.
Yeah.
So it is being published by a comic company. It is the number one ordered book on Amazon, not for a minute, for 5 or 6 days now. It is what this was in Japan. It was an attempt to organize all the timelines in Zelda to make one timeline, that they're all connected to each other. Right, to create a line that goes through. And this book came out in Japan. Actually, the Kinokuniya bookstore here had a bunch of copies for like $60. People want like a couple $100 for it on eBay. I should have grabbed it.
Wow.
But it's an English translation version the Dark Horse is putting out. It's coming out like in January, I think, here.
So it means we could get it here in the shop.
We're going to get it here in the shop, and here's what's going to happen. Now, look, you can go on Amazon right now, and I'm going to tell you right now, you can go on Amazon and pre-order for $20, all right? It's a steal,
yeah.
All right? It's Amazon. I can't compete with Amazon. So we're going to do something a little bit different here. We got this podcast, and we got the Geek Box, right? And these are both kind of, a couple of us like Zelda, right? I think Ryan Scott likes Zelda a little bit.
I'm a huge Nintendo guy.
That's what I'm saying. We're all big fans.
I always like Link. I love the cartoon, even though it's horrible. The only problem is every time I played Zelda, man, I don't understand the game at all. I get stuck at something, and I can't get past it, and I always give up after a while. So Mario is my man.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna try something here, which I haven't really tried before. So we're gonna see if this works. If price isn't the motivating factor to buy this book, and you want to support the store as well as this podcast and the Geekbox podcast, what we're going to do is we're going to be selling this book through the store. It retails $35 with tax and shipping. We're just going to charge $40 for this book to cover everything. California state tax. You have to charge tax for out-of-state purchases and everything.
Yeah, that's official now, right?
I think so. But $40. Here's what it's going to get you. It's going to get you the book. It's going to get it shipped to you, and we're going to have some extra stuff in there. We're going to try to throw some extra crap from the store in there like we do with all our orders. We're also going to have – the plan is to have a print or comic of some sort, an original one created by my girlfriend, who's actually – we've talked about this before, who's been doing some work on a Geekbox comic strip. A signed, numbered, limited kind of print of something we're going to start working on here to send with this comic. Signed by the people, us here at the Geekbox and the Comic Conspiracy Podcast, signed by everyone, and maybe some extra other stuff. I mean, we're going to see when you throw in there. So, if this is at all interesting to you, cancel those Amazon orders. I'm going to probably put up a link in probably next week, maybe next week's show notes. We still got to do this through the Geekbox and a few other things, so you can pre-order through us. And like I said, it's a case, I'm not going to lie, and get it cheaper elsewhere, but that's where we're trying to throw in some extra cool swag, as well as this signed limited edition print that we're going to throw in as well. So it's kind of a test run for us. There's a lot of video game comics and comic-related stuff out there. Udon does all the Street Fighter stuff. There's actually a new Street Fighter hardcover graphic novel coming out. It's your $35 big oversized hardcover, but it's totally original.
Huh. Okay.
If this works, we may try to do this with some other stuff as well. I think it's cool. We do a lot of mail order. We've got a good number of customers. We're always sending stuff out. Thank
you guys.
Yeah. This will, everything we get helps the store and helps the podcast, pays for hosting fees, pays for pizza, pays for, the electricity around the store, keeps us in business. If we get 2 people, cool. If we get 200, awesome, right? I have no idea how many people are interested in this sort of thing, but if this sounds cool to you, maybe we'll look up some info on it and, let me know. Shoot us a message on Twitter or send us an email if you're just interested, even if you're not want to commit the money right away. Kind of give me some ideas,
so you can figure out how many to run.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't even come out till I think January, so this is still a long time to get this sorted. And if this is something you're interested in the future, we could definitely try to do something like this for periodically for books. I know, Toby, in the past we had tried to do something like this around the release of comic books.
Yeah. The idea was to have a lot of artist friends too. The idea was say for Walking Dead that we have a store exclusive print for when they buy all of them together and stuff. We actually went out and tried to get permission to do this, and we got shut down every time. But the idea was there, and I had artists lined up. So
maybe it's just one of those things where you just do it.
Yeah,
and you just do it, and you're not charging anything for it. So it's like, we didn't get any extra money for this. The money goes for the book. This is just something we threw in. So maybe we'll start doing this a little bit more.
She's drawing his original characters, so
sure, exactly. So if you're a lawyer, don't tell us it's illegal. just smile and nod. So I'm sure.
If you're a lawyer, please represent us pro bono.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think it's a cool idea, and hopefully some people are interested, and if no one is, well, whatever. No skin off my back. I think that's an episode, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. If you want to find this episode as well as all our other episodes, and in the next week or so, we'll have that link up so you can prepay or pre-sign up or buy or whatever for this book when it ships at www.geekbox.net.
Maybe do the prints limited to the amounts that got ordered.
I mean, that's sort of
that would be cool.
That's sort of the plan.
Say 75 ordered it, or say 10 ordered it, 75 or 200 ordered it. That's exactly the amounts of prints that will exist. That could be kind of fly.
That's kind of the plan. Is that we don't usually we have a bit of a head start to do the pre-orders, but as long as before the shipping date, as long as we know that's when we'll get the total. Yeah. So, yeah, the more people that order it, the less limited it is. Maybe that's a bad idea. Well, anyway. Maybe we'll do some color variants or something.
Shut up with your variants.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe we'll have a ghost.
Maybe we'll have a ghost variant for the
just the Geekbox people and the
ghost,
conspiracy people.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Find the one that's not signed at all. That'll be the mistake one. That'd be worth twice as much. Anyway, you can find this episode as well as the Geekbox and Good Job Brain and the Comedy Button.
I have to listen to Good Job Brain. I think there's a Muppet episode.
It is. They just went up.
Yeah.
And apparently Karen's doing some podcast about fake snack food. I have no idea what this is. I'm sure I'm going to find out more tomorrow night. So there you go. I don't know what this is. But that's maybe somewhere on the internet. Go find that. Forums at geekbox.net. You can talk to us about this episode and all this other crazy crap. You can hit up Brock's blog, spiritofbrock.com. Omar's not here, but we'll still pimp Comics and Kind for him. comicsanddakind.com. Charlie, who also is not here, but he's plugging away still in the Infinite Long Box podcast. I still don't think they have a
long box.
I still don't think they have a site up yet, but maybe
still the slip sync site is still up. I think
maybe the next Ghost variant will just be for the Comic Conspiracy podcast and the Infinite Long Box podcast. That's what it's going to be. Podcast exclusive. What else do we got? We're all on Twitter. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager, Toby XI, Comics and Duckine is Omar, and Insanity in Chaos. Why are the two people missing? The two people with the crazy Twitter names. Insanity in Chaos. That's Charlie.
You want me to have a crazy Twitter name?
No, I don't.
I don't either, Brock.
I think, is there anything else? Digital.comicsconspiracy.com. You can go on there and buy some digital comics for us.
Like us on
Toby.
iTunes. Give us some.
Oh yes, I've been bad about doing iTunes shoutouts. Let's get some likes on iTunes, some big thumbs up, some 5-star reviews only, and then
People don't do it because we don't shout it out.
I'll read a bunch. I'll read a bunch next time. I promise. Toby, you missed a big Nightwing sale on Comixology this last week.
Oh,
big Nightwing sale. But you guys should check out the big
all
sales.
Right. I'll probably own them already.
They have big sales every weekend, so people should check those out when they're up there. Remember to buy them through our store. I put it on Twitter, but whatever. Comics or digital.comicsconspiracy.com. I think that's it.
Cool.
We'll be back next week in another episode.